Alright, what's up? Hi. So, this one's probably gonna be a bit quick, a bit fucking rushed. I didn't like plan out a whole lot of what I say. I don't normally plan shit out, but this topic, I don't know. I got a lot to say about it. I wanted to make a video about something else and I already filmed it and I was like editing it and I don't know. This was on my mind way more than whatever I was talking about in that. So I still am gonna finish that, but I really just wanted to talk about this situation because one, holy fucking shit. And two, the discourse around this fucking sucks. You know, it's every single piece and take I've seen about it, bar like 2, has just been infuriating to me. So I really wanted to fucking talk about it and vent about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Content warning, pedo shit. Once again, for some reason, this fucking toxic theme seems to be running a little rampant at the moment, which sucks. But I'm here to tell you that it fucking sucks because you're a brainless dipshit that doesn't realize it sucks until I tell you. Because I am an all-foreseeing being God that, I'm done with that. So in her video about this, Sean had said that she got this information from Brittany Venti at the start, but I saw it all kick off with the Shu tweet, so that's where I'm gonna start. Shu tweeted the brand Balenciaga just did a interesting photo shoot for their new products, which fucking me, I cannot read. For their new products recently, which included a very purposely poorly hidden court document about virtual child porn. Not really the phrase you want to be fumbling around with for a while. Normal stuff was the end of the tweet. And then it included some photos, which we'll go over in a fucking second. But yeah, my initial reaction to this was like, whoa, what the fuck? How did that happen? How did that get, what the fuck is happening? It seemed wrong. It seemed like misinformation, but alas, it was not. So the first photo included, and I'm gonna be showing them on screen. Personally, they make me kind of uncomfortable to look at. That's why I did the content warning. So if you don't wanna look at this weird shit, then skip to this seconds, but you're missing context, so don't be a pussy. Upon first glance, this photo isn't that weird. It's kind of the little details that make it really fucking creepy. The biggest of those little details is the bear dressed in like bondage gimp shit. I think it's not gimp shit, it's bondage gear. A little girl holding a bear with bondage gear on. Like it's got a fucking leash, I'm pretty sure that is, or some strap, I don't know. It's clearly, it's like the bear itself, there's like an art thing about, it's like the fucking juxtaposition of cute innocent teddy bear with like deviousness and bondage shit is devious. I understand that. Just don't fan that to a fucking child. What's up? I just wanted to explain myself a little bit better. What I mean by like the art shit is this fucking thing of like putting bondage shit on little teddy bears has been done before, and I understand like as like a piece, this sort of like the juxtaposition thing. I get that. I understand that. I just don't think that you should like giving it to kids is what makes it weird. It's the fact that the kid's holding it. Like, I don't know. And I think they're trying to like play on the innocence shit with having like adult stuff, like fucking makeup shit and wine glasses, and I think that, what is that, a coffee cup that's Balenciaga? This design looks like the Monster logo, and that's fucking trash. Then at the very bottom of the photo, there's like a dog bowl with spikes poking out of it, which if puppy girl Jenna has taught me anything, I don't think that's just an innocent little detail. It pairs with the leash. Like the photo is on its surface not that bad, but if you start looking at it, it's pretty creepy, and then they make it fucking worse by having a second photo where she's lying down, face down on the couch with the bear next to her. There's also this other bear which is just wrapped up in, again, I don't know if that shit's like gimp shit, but it's like the whole fucking leather kink shit. Look, the photo is creepy, right? You can fucking run around making justifications all day for this. Like, technically, there's nothing sexual about any of it. And I guess if you're going super technical, maybe, I don't know. I don't even want to really fucking credit that point, but I guess you could make that argument. But I just think you're fucking lying to yourself if you don't see that the situation that's like painted, not situation, I guess. What am I fucking trying to say? The image, aesthetic, whatever the fuck they're trying to go for with this is clearly, there is a moth. Fuck off. It's clearly meant to be provocative, and if the only reason it would be provocative is if there is like this creepy undertone to it. That's where the provocative nature comes from. We'll get into the people's responses to this later. I just fucking hell. The other photo doesn't actually seem to be as bad. It's still kind of weird. A different little girl holding like a goth version of the bear. Like it's got fucking choker chains and shit on. So it's still a little bit like inappropriate, I guess, but it's not, it doesn't feel as creepy as the first one to me. That second one on its own probably wouldn't have started fucking anything. Maybe someone would have looked at it and gone, I don't know, that feels a little bit too, that feels weird, but it's not, it wouldn't have blown up into this shit show. And even if it was just those two photos alone, I don't think it would go nearly as like viral and become such a big topic. I have my personal problems with those photos and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the thing that makes this so fucking strange and so like weird is this photo, which the photos of a fucking handbag, briefcase, I don't know, bag, whatever, they're on the website at the same time that the other shoot was up. It looks pretty inconspicuous, but this visible document is a court hearing about virtual child porn. Like not using child porn in advertising and shit like that on the internet, basically, it was the ruling. The court ruling was in favor of upholding that. But it's pretty obvious. The thing, I don't know, I think they're doing the thing of like, this is provocative photo shoot, and then this is like a little hint to that or something. I don't really know if that's it, but if that's not it, then why did they just have that lying around? Why did they have that on set? That had to be printed out to be brought there. There was forethought involved in all of this, and that is scary to me. Yeah, so that's why Balenciaga is in the news recently. The shoe tweet blew up, and I mean, other people were talking about this definitely, but I think that tweet is like the kind of center that happened, and a lot of discourse is surrounding that. And I think that is because Shu brought it up, and Shu is a very discourse-prone person, I guess. Yeah, so what the fuck? That seems to be the tagline of this video. What the fuck? Why the fuck? How the fuck? And once again, what the fuck? So what happened? Is this just the brand trying to be like shocking, provocative, and edgy? Is there some secret elite pedo cult, like slipping little information and tidbits out into the public? Is it just some pervert designer who was like on this shoot and posting fetish to main being like lol based? Probably a mix of all three. Schizo Jeck take, schizo Jeck take. Pedo elites may be running the world. That's maybe. Just a maybe. Look, I don't fucking know really what happened. I don't know, but like it does seem like something brands would do, like just stir up controversy to get fucking attention. I think in this case it's drawn a lot of negative attention, but not all the time that does it. And you know, there are people fucking riding or dying for Balenciaga now, notably pedophiles doing that. I don't know, there's a little part of me that is like, fucking sirens are going off in my lizard brain. The billionaires are fucking kids, and I can't like stop like getting that. It's hard to get that idea out of my head when it's been so drilled into it by events that have happened globally in the past few years especially. One thing I do know for sure is that this ad should have had nothing to do with this left versus right, fucking liberal, progressive, groomer, fucking discourse, whatever the fuck. That is not involved. At least it shouldn't have been, but for some reason it was. I want to go over all of the different types of reactions that people had to this event and give my takes on those like broad archetypes of reactions that I saw pretty commonly, because this was a pretty talked about issue. So like you see people sort of forming camps of, I agree with this idea, this sentiment, and you know, some of them have overlap, but whatever. I'm just gonna break them down and talk about them individually. Let's start with the reasonable takes, or the takes that I think are at least reasonable. One, the brand is just doing this to stir up controversy. The whole, all press is good press. Any press, whatever it is. I think that's a reasonable thing to sort of assume. In this capitalist society we live in, you know, you see shit like this like a fair bit. Just like brands trying to be fucking edgy and provocative, especially in fashion. Normally it isn't around pedo shit. It's normally just around like temptation, deviousness, sex sells, I guess, is the thing. And when sex has been selling for so long, it's sort of understandable for markets to be like, well, how can I make this more controversial? I just think we should all be in agreement that taking it this direction is the wrong type of controversy. The bad type of controversy. The controversy that should be controversial. Check this out. Yeah, I bought that when I was like 12. Old iTunes ringtones, go hard, no regrets. Second reasonable take. This is fucked up, what the fuck Balenciaga. I think those are the only two like pretty reasonable takes. Let's go into the one that I think is slightly less reasonable, bit more shitty, but it's a pretty common take that I saw being thrown around. Well, this is the fault of the designer, the person who conducted the photo shoot and orchestrated all of that. It's their fault. It's got nothing to do with the brand. It just must have slipped through an oversight or whatever the fuck. That line of thinking. I agree, the person who did this obviously is in charge of it. Except this is like a multi-million-dollar company. Balenciaga isn't like a small niche fashion brand. It's fucking Balenciaga. This is a massive corporation. Like, this shit doesn't just get posted by one dude. It's not one person in control of like their website, their campaigns and shit like that. There's oversight. People see this and check off on it. It goes through checks, or at least it should be going through checks. Assuming that the multi-million-dollar fashion brand knows how to run a business in a very standard, I guess the correct way of running a business, like the checks and balances shit is checks and balances for a reason. Assuming that the brand knows how to do that, which you would because it's a very successful brand, you would think that someone would see this and be like, guys, are we not a little worried that we're pedo baiting? Like, no one fucking thought that? Everyone was just like green lighting this shit. I don't really get it. I understand aiming the frustration towards the designer. That's definitely, that needs to be done. And it's not just like fuck Balenciaga and everyone that's ever worn Balenciaga or worked at Balenciaga. It's not like the fucking janitor of the Balenciaga office has anything to do with this.
So I saw this video and I think this is fucking stupid. People, like, need to fucking feed their families. The people working in that looks like a shopping center, they're people doing security for that. They have nothing to do with the fucking ad. This is just fucking, that's doing cover for the higher ups. Doing this whole, I'm a warrior for the cause. But then you're talking to fucking random people just trying to feed their families, doing their fucking job. I'd personally quit, but I understand not everyone's in that position. Not everyone has that mentality. Maybe it's not even feasible right now for that person. So doing shit like this is fucking stupid. If you haven't seen this video, you don't know what I'm fucking talking about. I don't fucking care. Suck a dick.
It is the designer and the higher ups, but it's not just the designer. It's the company, because via the fact that the company had to let the designer do that shit. And I don't believe that they had no idea. I don't believe that. I just do not fucking believe that. And now we've got some dog shit takes, some really bad brainless, brain rot, smooth brain, head open, brain has been pissed and shitted on takes. Oh, this isn't that bad. It's just art. The kids aren't even in harm's way. They probably don't even know like what the bear means. If you say some shit like this, you're a pedo. I don't want to fucking say that, because calling people pedo on baseless accusations is bad. I think that's true. But you're either coping or fucking groping if that's your immediate line of thought. This isn't even that bad. There's no harm being done. Look, I'd probably even grant you the fact that the kid probably doesn't understand what it's holding. The kid doesn't understand not the severity, I guess, like the connotation of what it's holding. I think that the kid looks young as shit. Like, I don't think it knows what fucking BDSM is. Probably does just think it's a fluffy bear, just on a photo shoot, you know? That part I agree with. Except everyone else in the room knows what the fuck the bear means. The adults, the designers, handing the child the sexual bear, and then taking the photo of the child with the sexual bear. They know what that means. No harm being done. I know the kids weren't fucking raped. I'm not dumb. I know the kids' parents probably had to sign off on this and probably were aware of it. So I guess, your parents have to have some agency over their fucking kids. But the idea that this isn't inappropriate is fucking mind-boggling to me. Because one, if it wasn't, why the fuck is anyone talking about it? Why at all is there controversy about it? Like, I know sometimes random shit blows up and everyone's just like, oh, why the fuck is anyone talking about this? It doesn't mean anything. And sometimes, a lot of the time I do agree with that. But this isn't one of those cases. I feel like it should be uncontroversial to say that this is a controversial art thing or whatever. The brand, it's not even art, bro. It's a brand. It's a fashion brand. Chud Logic had a really good take on this. Basically, someone in his chat was trying to say I don't think it's that bad. And he was making the point of, would you hand this bear to a child if their parents were around? Like, let's say you just had this bear, and some random fucking kid dog, go away, man. I'm being smothered by affection and I am on incel vibes only today. Even if it's like a family friend, not just like a random child. So some child looks at you holding a bear and they're like, oh, I want that. And their parents are right there. Would you turn and go, here you go, little girl and hand them that bear? Like, would you feel comfortable to do that? I know I wouldn't, because I would fucking, if a kid was coming around, I'd be like, put that shit away, man. Don't fucking have that out. I understand the art thing about the bear. It's like innocence juxtaposed with the fucking, again, I don't even know if like devious is the right thing. It's just like serious mixed with innocence, whatever. But you wouldn't hand that to a kid. You shouldn't hand that to a kid, because it's fucking, it is inappropriate. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see how people don't think it is. Second dog shit take. Where's all the outrage at fucking child beauty pageants? The hypocrisy of people getting mad at this. Okay. What? Fuck child beauty pageants. I'm not afraid to say that. What child beauty pageants are weird. They're creepy. I think it's super messed up that little girls get fucking like egos shattered because old dudes are sitting there saying, actually, that one's prettier. And the mums involved with it get like weird. They like live vicariously through the little children getting validation. Child beauty pageants are definitely weird. It's kind of creepy. It fucks with like the self-esteem of the girls, I think, genuinely. Yeah, but that's a separate conversation. That's a conversation about child beauty pageants, not about Balenciaga doing a fucking creepy photo shoot and having documents about kid porn on their fucking website. Like, it's weird whataboutism. It's like, oh, so you think this is bad? Well, what about this other bad thing? And it's like, yeah, they can both suck, man. I don't get it. It's people should be like, yeah, you're right. That too. That's also a problem. Let's get them both. And then fucking Kanye West had like one of the weirdest and worst takes I've ever heard about it.
Everyone is so outraged and focused on Balenciaga, but then we're still aborting our kids. We're still fornicating. But, oh, we don't wear Balenciaga now. You shut the hell up.
You know, people are getting mad at Balenciaga, but we still have sex. So what the fuck? Kanye, what are you doing? There are lots of people saying, you know, this is the LGBT trying to normalize pedophilia, and like the gay agenda is fucking, you know, trying to make people cool with sexualizing kids, and that's a fucking dumb as fuck take. There is a massive difference between the pedo agenda and the gay agenda. They're not the same thing. I don't understand why are they being called the same thing? Being gay is gay. Being pedo is being pedo. Like, pedo, gay. There are gay pedophiles, sure. There are straight pedophiles. There are pedophiles of every mixed race, creed, whatever the fuck. Gender, fucking race, sexuality, none of that has anything to do with what the fucking the problem is. The problem is that the attraction to kids and wanting to fuck the kids. That's the bad part. I don't know. I think there is, people need to be a little bit more vocal on separating like the gay agenda versus the elite agenda. The global elite pedophiles are not gay because they normally fuck little girls. The church is gay because they like to fuck little boys. This is basic biology, come on. And the award to the absolute worst fucking take to have on this entire situation goes to, you can't criticize this because it's Trans Day of Remembrance and a gay nightclub had a mass shooting a few days ago. What the fuck? This was a common take from people on the left, attacking Shoe on Head mainly for coming out about this at a time where discourse, like trans groomer discourse, was pretty big. That sort of shit. They were saying, it's fucked up to come at this time and whatever. My brother, did you forget what side you're fucking batting for? Are you forgetting that we don't think gays and pedos are the same thing? We don't think that LGBT and pedo is the same thing? Remember how that's like a thing that really reactionary conservatives like to push? Like, the gay people are pedophiles, they're groomers. The trans people are pedophiles, they're groomers. You know how we're like talking against that and saying, no, we're not. Why are you now saying, hey, stop attacking the pedos, right? It's been a hard year for us gays. What the fuck? Sean Head's video, like, response to this, I think is really, a really good watch. She goes pretty in-depth about this, and you know, I've been watching Sean Head for years. Like, she's one of the first, I guess, probably one of the first openly politically based people that like I was like pretty into their content, like Chris Reagan, Derek Blackman, Shu, that group of people. I'm watching them for a while, and like, you know, as Shu points out in the video, a lot of her content throughout the years has been about specifically this creepiness protruding from both sides. Like, big focus of hers, at least from the way that I interpret it, is that pedophilia isn't a bipartisan issue, or it is a bipartisan issue. I don't know what bipartisan means. Put the definition on the screen and figure out which one you mean.
Yeah, I don't even know if this word actually even fucking works in this context. I just mean that it's like not a one-sided issue. Both parties have this problem infesting them like fucking cancer.
Yeah, but that's been like a big focus of our content, is that gay people aren't pedos, right? Pedos are bad. Gay people are cool. That's a distinction that for some reason we still have to try fucking make. And that distinction is getting harder and harder to make when people that are so-called progressives and shit are running with this disgusting fucking normalization of sick shit. It's this map shit all over again. Like, minor attracted people, that's a pedo. Like, why the fuck are you giving it a different name? Because pedo has a bad connotation. No, fucking kids has a bad connotation. Wanting to fuck kids has a bad connotation. That's a good thing. It's bad for the mental health of the pedos. It's bad for the mental health of a child to rape them. I don't know. Sorry, man. I'm just spitting some facts. It's not my fault. Don't kill the messenger. I said it before and I said it again. Pedos are fucking infiltrating both right-leaning spaces, both left-leaning spaces, centrist fucking spaces, like outside of politics spaces. They're fucking infiltrating everywhere. They're all around you. They are the invisible enemy, whatever the fuck the thing is. I don't know. The groomer discourse is so fucking annoying to me. I really don't get it. Like, do I think that trans people existing is grooming little kids? No, of course not. Do I think that this is inappropriate? Yes, of fucking course. Why is it so hard to make those distinctions? But the fact that fucking this has somehow become like an LGBT, like involved issue, like the fact that the LGBT fucking whatever is involved in this instance, one, is really fucking bad for the LGBTQ plus QI, whatever the fuck movement. It's bad in the fact that for like people that are opposed to it, they're gonna see this correlation and use that. They're gonna continue to use that and push the fucking wrong narrative that every single gay person is a fucking pedo. And it's also really bad because pedos feel fucking comfortable in these spaces and are being like made comfortable. That's not it. And it'd be like being fucking welcomed with open arms in some of these like spaces for this shit. And that's scary to me. That's really fucking scary to me because society is a very progressive like position right now, especially like in the West is basically what I'm talking about. You know, like being progressive and shit like that is like the norm, the cool. It's cool to be like this right now, and I see that. And I'm really worried that because of this and this like really fucking blind, like not voting along party lines, but like fighting, because it's not voting, but it's like fighting for your side blindly. I'm really worried that that's gonna start happening and that pedos are gonna start co-opting like the progressive movement of acceptance to include themselves into it. And I'm worried that because of how fucking like weirdly divisive and aggressive the two sides are becoming, that they're not gonna be able to have this one agreement that fucking kids is bad. I'm really worried we're getting to the stage that there is going to be a massive side fighting for the right to fuck kids. I don't want that shit. I don't want I do not want any PLM riots in my fucking neighborhood. I'm sorry. And I know I'm doing, what's it called? Virtue of fear, appealing to being scared. I don't know. But the way shit's going wouldn't fucking surprise me. That's all I'm saying. People that want to abuse and harm children are fucking co-opting the progressive movements of acceptance. And the gays seem to be falling for it. You know, sure, this is a minority. I know it's a fucking minority of a minority that is accepting of this and is having this discourse. It's not the whole left, it's not the whole right, whatever the fuck. I know that. It is a vocal minority that is growing in size and growing in its like normalization. That's my problem. It's not like, here's the way that I see it, right? And I want to make it again fully clear. Trans people, based, whatever the fuck, I don't care. Trans people make up such a tiny fraction of the entire global population, but they are so talked about. Like, it's such a big news. You might not know a trans person in real life, but you definitely know they exist now. It's a pretty small minority. It's a pretty vocal minority. And again, I think that obviously trans people should have the right to fucking life and all of that, and they shouldn't be hunted or mocked for existing. I understand that. I get that. I agree with that. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that just like how that extremely small group of trans people is very vocal and very present on the internet, which is where most people spend most of their fucking time now, it got so normalized that it's just a very accepted thing. You're either pro or anti-trans. It's like it's become a fucking political stance to take. And I'm worried that pedo shit is going in that direction, and they've fucking somehow like a symbiotic virus attached themselves to that type of mentality. That I'm just worried that could come come into fruition.
Like, there are way more fucking pedophiles on the planet than trans people. That's kind of what I'm talking about with the vocal minority. I understand that pedos in the entire global population are a tiny minority, but they're bigger than trans people, and trans people are so, like, widely talked about and accepted that I'm worried that that's the route that pedos are gonna take, because they're a bigger group, they fucking have more influence, more power, because they run the world.
Call me a fucking, what's it called, doomsday prepper, whatever. Conspiracy theories, label me whatever you want. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. I'm calling it. Don't let it fucking happen. Stop it now. Stop, kill it, nip it in the bud. Deal with it before we actually have to deal with it, I guess is my fucking take. The biggest reason this entire scandal really fucking sucks for me is because it ruins like my second favorite Playboi Carti song.
Balenciagas, I don't fuck with nobody.
I don't fuck with nobody that's fucking kids, man. I don't know, this shit's super fucking annoying. And there's probably a bigger discussion to be had about like the way that everything becomes political now, and that everything becomes politicized in that it's a left thing or it's a right thing, or this is a trend with people on the left, this is a trend with people on the right. Everything seems to be like that nowadays. Like everything seems to be divided into these two pretty fucking meaningless categories. And because of that, you have people running fucking defense for this it's pretty inarguable that this was a bad decision for the brand to make. This ad was not a good idea to run. That's like, I think that should be unarguable. Like, why does a child porn documents need to be on the fucking website of fashion brand? Like that, why is this becoming a groomer fucking left-leaning discourse or whatever? I just don't get it. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't pretend like it's the boogeyman. It's just pedos and they are bad. It's a real person that you can shoot with a real bullet. Bring back public executions of pedos. Stay woke. This dog is the neediest thing on planet Earth. Look, and there's a pretty fucking interesting conversation to be had about like the artistic statement, like the juxtaposition and comparison between like innocence and like BDSM. There's like this whole like in like dom sub shit, like the subs is like this innocent thing, and the dominance like abusing its power structure, like not structure, position of power. Like that's kind of like I understand that there is a statement. Oh my god, I understand that there's a fairly interesting conversation to be had there, and you could probably make some pretty like provocative art around that topic, but I don't think a fashion fucking photo shoot with like 4 pictures is able to make the statement that I assume, I'm being really charitable, that they might have been wanting to make. Fuck, I'm being charitable in even just like thinking this shit's pedo baiting, honestly. That's what I think it is. Out here, I feel like I'm running defense for even fucking like trying to explain my opposition to myself. Like, to me, this is such an open and shut case, but yeah, I don't know. Also, this nuanced conversation about art and fucking themes and all that's not being had. That's not what is in the dialogue going around at the moment. That isn't in the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist right now is either fucking fear-mongering about like gay people, or people trying to brush it under the rug and say it's not that big of a deal. And because for some reason America is so fucking religious, they're all worried that it's Satan. It's not Satan, lad, it's pedos, and pedos are the devil, but that doesn't mean they're Satan. And look, I'm also not trying to say that 100% there's some like global fucking elite pedophile like Pizzagate type shit. I'm not trying to say that exists. I don't have any proof of that. I can think whatever the fuck I want, but I'm not trying to say that that's just like an inexcusable fact and you need to wake up, sheeple. I'm not trying to do that. But can you at least see how maybe I might be like a little bit suspicious of that? Just like maybe a tiny bit suspicious. Just the smallest amount of suspicion slipping into my brain. Like, hey, I'll be the first to admit it. My lizard brain do be liking patterns though. It might be liking patterns so much that it's seeing patterns where there aren't any. That's an entirely possible thing. But there seems to be some patterns. There seems to be some weird trends, some weird discourse, and I don't wanna say everything's a psyop. I don't wanna say this is all Fed posting. I don't know what it is. I don't even really feel comfortable saying that it's just fucking deranged people. I don't really understand what it is. But there's something going on where discourse is so polluted in fucking left versus right politics, in whatever the fuck, that actual issues just get skimmed over, and this will be be out of the news in 2 weeks. Even the people right now that are all like, fuck Balenciaga, it's gonna be gone in 2 weeks. No one's gonna fucking care about this in 2 weeks. And that sucks, because just like fucking every other big issue that has been brought to the forefront recently, both sides seem to forget about it as soon as the new thing comes. And I know like a lot of right-wing people, they do the I am angry at current thing, leftist stereotype meme, like, but they do the same thing. They're outraged at boring stuff, and then a new boring thing happens, and then that's a controversy. Like 1 minute it's Lizzo playing a flute, 1 minute it's trans people existing, whatever the fuck it is. It's all trivial. All of that shit's trivial. But I don't know. See, like even in that, there is really like interesting conversations to be had about like kink at Pride. That's like a really fucking interesting thing, because obviously Mardi Gras is pretty important for gay people historically. But if you're having like a super friendly and environmental, no, that's not what the fuck am I even saying? Inviting environment for like people of all ages and shit like that, maybe you shouldn't have kink at Pride. And like drag queens reading stories to little kids, I guess as long as there's nothing sexual really happening, that's not a problem. But if there is, then that's the problem. The Hooters discourse, I don't know, Hooters that seems kind of corny, I'll be honest. I've always thought that shit was corny. Even when I was young as fuck, why aren't you going to a titty bar? Like what are you doing? Is the food there good? Like what is the drive? I don't know, I don't get it. All these discussions seem to be missed. That's my big thing. Like conversations are being had past each other, and all of the interesting fucking topics and things that I think are actually really important are getting trivialized and swept under the rug, blown over in 2 fucking days. And that sucks to me, especially when it's this shit, which I feel like, I don't know, this feels like such an easy thing for both sides to come and agree on. The left, as in, don't abuse your power dynamic as a capitalist structure, exploiting children, painting them in sexual positions to appeal to fucking pedophiles for dollars. That's fucked up. That shouldn't happen. That's a left argument against it. And then a right could be, arguing for a bit of traditionality, saying that kids shouldn't be fucking exposed to this shit, especially at young ages. I think that's really fucking fair. There are reasonable takes from both sides, and I understand I didn't mention all of the fucking takes, obviously. Like a lot of people were like level-headed about this, but a large portion of people weren't. And that seems to be the thing that's really stuck with me about this. Like, what's it gonna fucking take for people to take their head out the sand and notice that something's fucked up? Something at the moment is wrong. Even if that something is literally as basic as the sexualization of kids and putting kids in sexual positions is pretty rampant. It's more rampant than we thought. High-profile, prolific, rich people seem to be doing it at pretty frequent rates, and that's bad. That's a pretty uncontroversial stance, I think, that we should all be like willing to have without fear of being fucking ostracized from your political place or whatever the fuck. If you adamantly want to defend this as well, that's cool. You can have that opinion. I disagree with you, and I'd be interested to hear why, and I'd also be interested to tell you that you're probably wrong, unless you can convince me, but I don't know. I think I've think about it enough to think that this is bad, but I want that dialogue to happen. I don't want this fucking adjacent discourse where it's got nothing to do with the fucking brand and it's becoming like a trivial thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about the whole there's no children getting harmed thing, because I can see that I understand no kids were physically harmed during the making of this production. Whatever the fuck, I understand that. Like, I get that. And I think, in some cases, like if you have a movie where a kid plays like a victim of abuse, like is that abusing kids? No, like there's somewhat nuance in this. But I mean, like, if I draw a fucking animated thing of like someone raping and fucking skinning babies alive, no one's actually getting harmed, but I still feel like I could maybe call that wrong. I don't know. That just feels like a pretty easy distinction to make for me. This feels wrong. Like, I know the parents consented on the behalf of the kids to do this, but at the end of the day, the child itself can't comprehend the situation it's being placed in. It doesn't understand the implications of like sexual things and the themes that the brand assumedly is playing with. Or if there's no themes, then it can't fucking comprehend what's happening anyway. It's a fucking child. Don't give it BDSM shit to hold. That's, I don't know. This is towing the line enough to where anyone with a brain would think that as Balenciaga, a massive company, this shit's seen by millions of people, there's at least some fucking person out there that is going to interpret this as sexualization of that kid. And by putting kids in that position to be even that small chance, I feel like you have to be aware of those like consequences. And I feel like there are risks, and it's probably a small risk. Like, kid's not gonna die because some pedo had a wank about it on the internet. But the fact that they're putting content that pedos are like able to have wanks about on the internet out, that's the problem. These are real kids. I know technically there's no harm. I get that. And I want to choose my words carefully here, because I want to get across the fact that I'm trying to like be thoughtful on this subject without just blind rage. Kilo pedos. Like, I don't want to get lost in blind rage. I want to give like a pretty reasonable thing. But I think this is wrong. I think the parents of these kids put them in really dumb positions. I think the designer now. I think it's like inarguable that he's at least toying with the idea of like kids in, say, somewhat adult, let's not even say sexual, let's just say adult situations, and the brand being okay with it. I don't think any of those, I think those three parties are to blame. Like, honestly, I think there should be outrage about this. I think, like, I'm not boycott Balenciaga, make them hurt with your wallets. Like, I know that's kind of corny, but don't be, I don't know. It's like this shit where fuck Drake. I don't want to fucking listen to Drake because Drake groped a fucking teenager on stage. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm the one in the wrong. I haven't thought about that. So maybe I am. I don't know. This is my opinion on it. I really just needed to fucking speak about it because the camera turned off, didn't it? Because I'm a grumpy, fucking complainy, whiny bastard. I don't know. The camera died, and I'm not fucking gonna bother just filming this last little bit and fixing it to do that, so yeah. As of this recording, Balenciaga has not gone on with the investigation. Oh, fuck, I didn't talk about the thing. Real quick, Balenciaga said that they would launch an investigation into it. They said that they didn't know what was happening. I call fucking bullshit on that. I don't know how your brand doesn't do that. And if you just had no idea, that's as bad as just letting this slide, I reckon, because you should not just let that shit slide. So yeah. Anyway, as of this recording, they haven't updated us on that. They haven't, for what I know, it hasn't gone through. When the results of that come out, I might make a follow-up rant. I might keep talking about it if the results, I don't know, are interesting enough, if there's more discourse. Maybe I can like turn it into a different topic and talk about something more broadly. But yeah, as of this moment, nothing's happened. The topic seems to be starting to be forgotten about, which I don't know. I'm not happy. This situation has not made me happy. I am seeing people inside my eyeballs and they are telling me to do terrible things. What a fun time to be alive. I don't know. There's basically it. I don't know. The boys in the walls didn't have very nice things to say about Balenciaga after this. That's all I'm gonna say.